in a few seconds, I'm going to invite one of you to come up here on stage with me. So notice what that's doing to your body right now. Yep, one of you gets to have what I'm going to call a let go moment, where you're going to let go of needing to know what the hell is going to happen next. That's going to be my invitation for you. And you're going to be taking a little bit of a risk, sure. But here's a couple of things to promise you, right? It'll be easy, non-humiliating. That's it. That's all I can promise. That's about it. But look, just notice what's happening for you. Like, we don't really like this idea, mostly. Our brains are like, hold on a second. We want to know what's going to happen. We want to be prepared. We want to be ready. And sometimes in our lives, if you're like me, our brains kind of can't shut up about that. They're like, what's going to happen next? Okay, you're walking the dog, but what happens when you get home? It's like always going on. So I want to give one of you complete freedom from all of that. Oh, blessed. You just get to come up here not knowing anything and join me and take a little bit of a risk. So let's see what happens. Can I get a volunteer to join? Yes, perfect. Who are you? What's your name? Cheryl. Keep just saying her name slowly as she comes to the stage. Cheryl. That's a little culty. Don't do that. All right, let's just clap for Cheryl. That's probably will do it. That's great. Awesome, Cheryl. Hi, Cheryl.
How do you do?
Thank you so much for coming up here. How are you feeling about this right now? How are you feeling?
Good.
Good. Me too. Yeah, do you know what's going to happen up here?
Absolutely not.
Me neither.
And you know, I love improvisation.
All right, perfect. Well, we're going to do something here, Cheryl. So in a moment, this is why this is here, Cheryl and I are going to co-create a piece of art together. That's what we're going to do. And here's how we're going to do it. This is an exercise adopted from an improv pioneer by the name of Keith Johnstone, a remarkable human being who knows a lot about this work. And this comes from his work as well. So here's what we're going to do, Cheryl. In a moment, you and I are going to create a portrait using only one pen. And here's how it's going to happen. I'm going to start just by putting an element of a face onto this pad. So I might start with an eye or a nose or a mouth or something. And then I'm going to pass you the pen, Cheryl, and you're going to add another element to it. And we're going to do this back and forth, not really talking. We're just going to notice what happens and use what the other person does. And we're going to do this in the next 15 seconds, and it's going to start now. So I'm going to start here, pass it to you. Oh. Excellent. Now, as we do this, we're hopefully just letting whatever happens happen. But as soon as we hesitate, we're going to stop and name our portrait. So as soon as the flow sort of begins, we start to think a little bit. We might do that. Let's see what happens. Okay. I'm hesitating. So here we go. One letter at a time. Cheryl and I are going to name this being like this. So here we go. This is the non-vowel name you will have to decide. Oh, there it is. It's Bittergrifferu. Cheryl, amazing. Thank you. That was incredible. Cheryl, big hand for Cheryl. Oh, yes, of course. I wonder what the art critics would say about this. You decide. So, Cheryl, thank you for doing that. It would not be fair, though, Cheryl, if you're the only one to have this let-go experience. So, yes, you can take a seat if you like, but here is the Oprah moment. Underneath every other chair is a pen and a piece of paper. So if you can reach under and access that, if it's there, and if it's not, partner up with someone who has one. So there'll be a little bit of chaos and rustling that'll happen now to do this. So find a single piece of paper and a pen. In a moment, you're going to do what Cheryl and I just did. So hold on to those just for a second. Get them ready. Perfect. Awesome. If you do not have access to a partner with a piece of paper, you can do this in 3s or 4s even. But what you'll want to do in the next 2 minutes with your partner is what Cheryl and I just did. One of you will start with an element, you'll add to it, you'll name it, and you'll co-create a bit together. On your marks, pass your pen back and forth, get set, go, make some art. Excellent. You got another 30 seconds. So keep it rolling. As soon as you hesitate, name your creature one letter at a time. Excellent. 15 seconds. If you haven't started your naming, now's a good time. Five, four, three, two, one. All right. Nice job. Yes, clap for yourselves. I don't know what you made. All right. So, we're going to talk about this in a second, but first, you actually bring the lights up one more time. I'd love for you just to show the people around you your creation. Just go ahead and do this, a little bit of that. All right, lovely, cool, thank you. Awesome. So here's what my invitation to you is. I'm the last thing before the break, and we're going to create a little Let Go gallery out in the lobby. You're going to bring your creations out there. There'll be some walls for you to put up there. You better look at other people's work, which should be fun, I think. So what is going on here, and why did I have you do this? Here's why. Because when you let go of a little bit of inhibition, perhaps you just made this with a stranger. Maybe it wasn't the person you came with to TEDx. When you let go of just a little bit of fear of the unknown. I don't do art. You let go a little bit of control. Wait a minute, I didn't want an eye there. I wanted a nose. When you do this, something magical happens. You make yourself available to be changed by another person. Available to be changed. We go through life wanting things to be a certain way, but we can find experiences where we let go just a little bit, find a let go moment, and create something that you could never have made by yourselves. So as an improviser and as an artist and as a facilitator, I'm deeply fascinated by what happens when people come together to make things. And what I've noticed is that there is an incredible alchemy when there's intention and when there's ideas, when there's histories, and those things collide under the right conditions, you can create things that you could never have made by yourself with other people. Math goes away. 1 + 1 does equal 4 when you start to work like this. And so when people co-create and let go to do it, it can help build community, it can help build a deeper connection with humanity. And what I realized is I discovered this when I was really, really young. I just didn't know it. So when I was really young, I would have these terrible nightmares. These nightmares where there'd be monsters chasing me through graveyards, and I would just be screaming, and I'd wake up and I'd still be there. They were awful. And I would get up and I would sort of trot over to my parents' room, and my dad would wake up with me, and he goes, "Nightmares?" I go, "Yeah." And he would lead me by the hand down to the kitchen, sit me down on a stool, and put in my favorite cinnamon toast. And then he would hand me a pen or a pencil and some paper. And he said to me, "Look, I'd like to see these. Show me these monsters that are chasing you in your dreams." And so I would start to draw them. And I would draw them night after night, and he would sit next to me. And this is like in the middle of the night, we should be sleeping, and he would start to work with me on them. He'd actually start to name them. He goes, "Oh, that looks like a turnip head monster." I was like, "Okay," and he'd write that down there. And I got really lucky because my parents saved these drawings. So here's an example. Yeah, I know. That's what I thought too. When I saw them, I was like, "Whoa, that's the best stuff I've ever made." And I still feel that way. So you can see it says lamp. You can't really read it, but lamppost monster is his writing there. And so we would do this, and this was our ritual. And I would use art to work through my fear, and I would continue to draw these. And then one night, and of course we were letting go right then. We're letting go of our need to sleep, basically. We're like, so that was my first let go moment. And then we had sort of an ultimate let go one evening where same thing happened, terrible nightmare, go downstairs, and he says, "I'm not going to give you a pen this time." And he hands me an eraser. And he goes, "Well, you've made these monsters. You can make them go away." And he had me start to erase my drawings, which I did. And over weeks of this and drawing and back and forth and co-creating, my nightmares began to fade, and they eventually went away. Sort of. Because then I got older, and my nightmares just evolved into real stuff, like life and work and money and children. So the fear was always there, but I always kept drawing to help me with that experience. And my monsters kept evolving too in my artwork. And so I never stopped drawing monsters, and I still do. But a few years ago, I started to draw these. So what are these? This is just a little robot drawn on the back of a domino. I call them Bot Joy, and I make lots of different bots. I started by making just joy bots, and I would take these joy bots and I'd leave them on the street for strangers to find. And I travel a lot in my work, and I would make hundreds of them, and I just leave them. So if someone was astute enough and observant enough while they're walking down the street to see something small, they would be rewarded by a little piece of joy, and they get a joy bot. And then I thought, wow, what other kind of bots can I make? So I started making brave bots to give to people who might need a little bit of courage. So I started to give these to kids in children's hospitals and to their caregivers, and they would get brave bots, and they sometimes would come with these operating instructions. Now again, this is just a drawing on the back of a domino. They don't actually talk to you. This is not AI. Not yet. But they'd have these instructions. And these instructions would invite people to have the dominoes stay with them. And then when needed, it would give them what they needed. A little bit of hope, a little bit of courage. And I have one with me here. And I started this about 2010. This is domino number 68,154. Out of infinity. Oh, don't clap. I'm crazy. I shouldn't be doing this. Are you kidding? It's like I have no life. It's just draw dominoes on robots. Seriously. But the thing about this is that I wanted a piece of art that would help. I wanted a piece of art that would support people, that would recognize people, that would celebrate people, and allow for people to give it to each other. So the reason why this is important in this Let Go experience is that one day I had to let go of this project too. So one day I get an email from a hospital, and this was the request. We love this project. We've gotten hold of it. We understand how it works, and we need it in our hospital. We need it badly. Our kids, our child life specialists would love this as a piece of support for kids that are coming through the hospital. We need 4,000 of them in a week. And so that was an incredibly hard thing to hear because I couldn't do it. So my realization is that my thing was the problem. I was the problem. I was the bottleneck of my own project. If I wanted this to have an impact, I couldn't be the only one to do it. But I had a whole bunch of identity and ego and everything else wrapped up in it, which I had to let go of. So literally the next day on my website, I put up a invitation to the world. It just said, steal this idea. And I put a video of how to make these little things on it. And remarkably, the world listened. And so now there are hundreds and hundreds of students and teachers and activists and artists and human beings that are making all sorts of different bots. And I don't even hardly ever know about it, which is perfect because I don't need to. It's got its own life. There's hope bots and brave bots. Someone made some writer's block bots because they couldn't finish their book. And it's remarkable. And so this was a piece of letting go that has been the most fulfilling for me. It's a fulfilling, incredibly fulfilling idea. So here is my question for you. What can you let go of? Can you let go of your ego and grab that guitar and hop up onto that open mic stage and go, ta-da, hello world? Can you do it? Can you let go of that? Can you let go of your preconceived ideas? You know, there's that neighbor that you never talk to. You're like, oh, I'm not sure about them. Can you just invite them over for a visit and actually see what happens? You know? Can you let go of your fear and speak your truth, the thing that's true for you, even in the face of people that may not agree with you? That is my hope, because my hope is that the idea of letting go can bring community and humanity together. So my invitation for you is, please, let go. Make something wonderful with someone else. Thank you.